Today we're going to talk about what happens right before success. And success is a funny thing, and it's counterintuitive to think that you're going to be afraid of success as an artist, but most artists are afraid of success. Why? Because they have foundational beliefs built in that say they have to be a starving artist, that artists don't make a lot of money, that artists are going to struggle. And yeah, in one sense that is true, but in another sense is absolutely false. Why? Because you have infinite potential and there are all parallel realities existing at the same time. So there's a reality where you're an artist doing what you want and making a ton of money on it. But with you having that foundational belief that's incorrect, when you start to get close to success, no matter how good you get at your instrument, no matter what room you get in, when you see that the next action you take will move you over that ledge and help you to start really changing that, you're going to sabotage it. Let's say you have the opportunity to go to the studio with someone, big artist. Finally, you've been grinding 20 years. Then right before, you get a stomach ache, you get sick, you get diarrhea. You did that to yourself because you're afraid of success, because it's not compliant with the foundational belief you have. Let's say you go to a school, you get a master's, you become a master pianist. Then you have an opportunity to play a huge show, Carnegie Hall. Traffic, or you forget something. You stay disorganized even though you're an organized person. And you sabotage it. You did that on purpose. As artists, we do this all the time. I've done this to myself so many times. But not anymore. You need to decide to stop it, but you need to also look at it. You need to look at the foundational beliefs. It operates on an unconscious level. Other people may see it. But basically, the way to get over the fear of success is change those foundational beliefs, rewire your mind. Decide I'm not a starving artist, I'm a rich scene artist. I only make bangers. And then, when you get a big opportunity, you need to be even more aware that the obstacles and the resistance are going to come up even stronger. You need to be extremely diligent. Let's say you're about to go to that studio. You need to be aware of everything you're eating so you don't get a stomach ache. You need to be extremely cautious when you cross the street, when you go to places. You know, you got that gig at Carnegie Hall. You got to be extremely diligent with keeping track of everything, preparation. But again, all of it's useless unless you do the foundational belief. Unless you look at that and you feel those feelings and you see that those are incorrect. That artists are always starving, that you're going to be broke, that you're going to struggle. You need to show yourself that those are not true thoughts. Those are lies. And it's painful to see that we've been lied to when we grew up. That's painful. But you got to see it and you got to start looking at it. It's not going to transition quickly, but you need to start committing yourself to your work at a more professional level, at a more intentional level. And then eventually you can stop being afraid of success with small victories, paying attention to small victories. That's what I help my artists do. We have small victories. We have calls every week. Little victories, posting every day. Little victories, finishing your song. Little victories, reaching out to people. Little victories, selling your music. All of those compound. I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't have these little victories compound up and up and up. Understand what's happening behind the scenes with your fear of success. And step into it even if you're uncomfortable. You're going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be uncomfortable. You have that version of yourself that's up here that's making money on your music. It's really uncomfortable to the version of yourself right now that's working a shit job. So you have to step into that and expand. And it's very uncomfortable. And a lot of resistance comes up. That's also why I have my group, to support artists and hold you accountable and be able to point out when you're sabotaging. I've sabotaged myself so many times I can point it out in almost any artist. So I'll save you 20 fucking years. I'll save you $100,000 wasted. Another thing that you do to sabotage yourself is invest in incorrect education, invest in unnecessary equipment, waste time on irrelevant YouTube videos, irrelevant channels, spend money on mixing, maxing, marketing, music videos. That's why I shit on all that stuff, because always 99% of the time it's an excuse for not looking at the fear of success. That's what I mean when I'm talking about energy. You got to focus on the root problem of why you're not making it. You have bangers, you have good music, you're in the zone. It's not about the mix, master, music video, or marketing. It's about you're afraid of success. Your body cannot handle the next level of success. So you're freaking out and making all these excuses and doing all these side quests that are really putting you in the gutter and wasting your most valuable asset, which is time. Time is your most valuable asset. If you focus on the energy first and you focus on really dealing with and confronting your fear of success and feeling all those feelings and going internal, you can make a banger with one fucking note. You play one note on the piano, but that's so aligned and you put it out in such alignment that it ripples through everywhere and it has a huge impact. That's why I say mixing, mastering music videos, marketing, and even learning your musical instrument is irrelevant if you don't understand the energy. If you want to be successful with your music. Because success is different than being good. You can be good and never be successful. There's a big difference. You want to be good and successful. So understand the proper priority. Energy first, everything else second. If you want to work with me, get my book, The Metaphysics of Music, and at some point in time, you'll get an email for True Artist Development, and at that time, you have an opportunity to work with me directly. But these opportunities don't come all the time, so when you see it, I suggest you hop on it. Have a great day.